Alright, Ben, I'm going to show you how to edit and change all those footnotes. What I have done is created a separate file that has just your notes in it. So what I need you to do is I'm going to send you an email with two files in it. One will be, it'll say Flowers from the Garden of Evil for the Kindle. The other will say Notes for Flowers. And I need you to open both of those files at the same time. Then click on View and View Side by Side. Right now I have my font fairly large so that hopefully you can see it easily on this video, but if I were you, I'd come down here to this section of the screen. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is, but I'm going to the bottom right of the screen that has the main text of your book in it, and I can make the font. It actually doesn't change the font, just changes the zoom. I can zoom in or out. I'd zoom it so that a single page will fit nicely on either side. And actually, I think you'll be able to see that on the video, so I'm just going to do it like that too. So what we need to do is find the endnotes, and actually, you notice when I'm scrolling down, it's scrolling both files. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to unclick this synchronous scrolling. I'm going to turn that off. It's got to not be blue. That way I can scroll one side, or if I move my cursor to the other document, I can scroll the other side. So now activate the one that has the main. I'm just going to call this one Flowers. I'll call this one Notes. So activate Flowers. And I'm under the Reference tab, and I want to click Next Footnote. And it should. Sorry, and I actually. Excuse me. I don't want footnote. I want endnote. And it was on next footnote. So I just am hitting the drop down arrow. I'm going to click next endnote. And it's going to find the very first endnote that occurs after the cursor. Since my cursor was at the very top of the document, it found the very first endnote. Well, that one's already done. So I want to skip it. I want to go to the one after that. So I'm going to click the down arrow and go next endnote again. And it found the second one. I actually did the second one too. Watch if I hover my cursor over this 2 that is slightly below the 2 to the left of it. That, even though my cursor is flashing, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but my cursor is flashing right here. But if I put my mouse over the second 2, it opens up that little square rectangle to the upper right, and it's blank. Again, that's the 2 you did, and you just never filled in that blank because you typed your notes at the end. I want to delete that 2. So I'm going to highlight the 2 that is not superscript, and I'm just going to press delete. If I hover now my cursor over the 2 that remains, you see it puts a big rectangle up there that actually has the information from the footnote, and that's what we want. So footnote 2 is good. You won't have to change that one. Now I'm going to go to, I keep calling them footnotes, but technically they're endnotes. So I want to find the next one. So I'm going to go to next endnote. It has now found the next endnote, which happens to be the first endnote from chapter 2. So I'm going to go, I just basically need to insert a new one. So I'm going to say insert endnote. It's supposed to open up the screen that lets me edit it, but it's not doing that, I see. I don't know why not. It was doing that to me earlier, so I restarted the video after I had closed Word. I really don't know why it's doing that. It's annoying. Tell you what I'm going to do is pop down to where it puts the notes. Okay. And I do see that footnote 3 is there, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split my screen. I can have two documents open like I have your notes and flowers, but I can also split the screen. I'm splitting the flowers one. That way I can have the footnotes down there. And I'm just going to pop this one up here to the top. And basically right here in footnote 3, what I really want is the first footnote from chapter 2. So I am going to highlight that in the notes document and just drag and drop. I actually accidentally messed up, so I'm going to press the undo button here. It's still highlighting. I'm going to drag and drop again. I want to put my cursor right after that 3. I accidentally put it a line down, and I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to put it right after this 3, on the same line as the 3. Now it's indented in a strange way. I'll fix that later. You don't need to worry about that. Now this really needs to be the beginning of chapter 2. Chapter 2's footnotes. You already have that label there, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if you noticed, I put in a new line, and I'm just gonna drag and drop the title from the notes over to flowers. And what I can do now is right click here. I put my cursor right next to that number 3. You'll need to do what I'm about to do now at the beginning of every chapter because you want your notes to start at 1 in every chapter. That's the way you've already done it, and it'll be a whole lot easier to keep things straight if you renumber starting with 1 at every chapter for your endnotes. So putting my cursor right here at the first endnote for chapter 3, I'm going to right click and it says Note Options. I'm just going to tell it to start at number 1. And it's not saying apply. I don't know why not. Oh, I'll go restart each section and apply. And ideally it will rename that, but I see it didn't. So I'm going to try again. This time I'm going to do something different. I'm going to highlight the 3, right click, Note Options, restart at each section, apply. Oh, I know it's wrong. This will be a good learning experience for you, Ben. So I'm going to actually open a brand new document to show you this. Remember, I think I showed you if you press Control Enter and you turn on those codes, Control Enter starts a brand new page. You don't have to keep hitting return to get stuff to go to a new page. Control Enter just will insert what they call a page break, and you can start on a new page right after. There's page breaks and then there's section breaks. If I go to page layout and I look at breaks, there's a whole lot of breaks I can insert. A new page, a new column, section breaks that start on a new page, section breaks that just change the section but continue on the same page. What we actually want to do is at the end of each chapter insert a section break next page at the end of each chapter. So it actually will create chapter 1 as a section, chapter 2 as a section, chapter 3 as a section. They'll all start on new pages, which is what you want. And then I can renumber or tell my endnotes to start numbering at 1 for each section. Now I don't actually want this document. I'm going to close it. I will pop back to your documents, turn off that synchronous scrolling. And the way to fix that is I'm going to go to your chapter 1. I'm actually going to get rid of the split right now because it's kind of a pain to work with. And I think I will actually maximize the whole screen again so I can see it a little better. and I'm going to look at those codes. I can see right before chapter 1 that I inserted a section break next page. It wasn't showing it because of it wasn't showing it starting on a new page because of the way I was viewing the document, but it is actually correct. So there's your title page, the beginning of your contents. I erased your contents that you typed in, and I've just got the Microsoft Word generated contents in here now. They don't have links because I haven't done the conversion to Kindle yet. I have to save it as a different type of document. It's no longer a Word document when I convert it to Kindle. When I convert it to Kindle, it'll create all those links. Activating my codes, I've got section break next page, then your intro quote, section break next page. Chapter 1, I need at the end of chapter 1, instead of a page break between the end of chapter 1 and part 1, I need to insert a section break. So I'm actually going to delete that page break, and under page layout breaks, I'm going to insert a section break. And so now it says section break next page instead of page break. At the end of this part 1, authoritarian metaphysics, I'm going to insert another section break next page. I don't actually want this hard return here because it's starting this line a little bit too far down. But I've got, it's there. I've got my section break new page, but it's not showing the words. It's just showing that little line. I don't know why it's not showing the words. Okay, but this should be a new section. Now, in theory, if I pop down to my Endnotes, yeah, that's right, Endnotes, you notice it changed that from a 3 to a 1 because now chapter 2 is the beginning of a new section. And I had told it, I'm going to highlight it again, right click, and go Note Options. I told it to start at 1, restart at each section, apply. If each new chapter starts a new section, renumbering these endnotes will work perfectly. Alright, so now I'm going to view side by side again. Come on. There we go. I'm going to Control Home. Actually, I've got it reversed now, and that's frustrating. So I'm gonna. It's reversed from the way I had it originally. So now notes are over here, flowers is over here. I'm going to Control Home and Flowers to get to the beginning of the document again. I'm going to go to References, Next Endnote. I'm actually going to turn off those codes because it's annoying. It's a little hard to actually see the endnotes when it's got all these codes in here. So I'm turning off the codes. I don't actually see the footnote. I have to find it. So References, Next Endnote. There's the very first endnote. So I'm going to go Next Endnote again. There's the second one for chapter 2. Next Endnote should be the first one for chapter 3. I'm holding my cursor over the one that's superscript, and I see that it's correct. So I'm going to highlight the one that you had inputted originally, and I'm just going to press delete. I can see I've got synchronous scrolling on again. I'm going to turn that off. Pop back to flowers. Next EndNote. It popped me to the one I had just done, so I'm going to go next EndNote again. Here is the second footnote, EndNote for Chapter 2. Pop over to the Notes, Control Home. Here is the second footnote for Chapter 2. I didn't really mean to highlight that. Pop back to flowers. I'm going to go in Insert EndNote. It pops me to where I'm supposed to actually put the text for that EndNote. Pop back to Notes. It now has, and I can highlight it now. Mine's already highlighted. I'm going to drag and drop the same line on flowers right next to the 2. The reason I'm not copying, instead I'm dragging and dropping, is because it lets me see which ones I've done. And it kind of helps me keep on track. Now ideally, if I pressed next EndNote, it would take me where I need to go. Unfortunately, it does not. So that's why I want to split the screen on the flowers document. So View, Split. On the top or bottom half, it doesn't really matter. On one half of the split, I want the actual text of the chapters. And that way I can hit next footnote in this section and it should nicely track along. But I could be wrong. I'll try it one more time and see. I'm scrolling to chapter 2 because I know I'm in chapter 2 in terms of doing the footnotes. And so now that I'm in chapter 2, I'm just going to click somewhere. I'm going to go References, Next EndNote. It has found footnote 1 from chapter 2. I'm going to go Next EndNote. It found footnote 2 from chapter 2. I need to delete, not that one, I need to delete the second 2. So I'm going to highlight that second 2 and press delete. And then I'm going to go Next EndNote. So it has found the third EndNote from chapter 3, 2. I'm going to say Insert EndNote. And unfortunately, it is popping me to the EndNote section in that split screen, which is kind of frustrating. That means you're going to have to scroll to the appropriate place in each chapter every time. And I can't figure out a way to save you any time on that. So, third footnote for chapter 3, popping over to the notes document, highlighting that third footnote and dragging and dropping it. Doesn't matter if I drag it to the top half of the screen where the note was or the bottom half. You can see it put it in both of them. Because on the right side of my screen, even though it's split, it's still the exact same document that's split. If I make changes in the upper half, it'll make changes in the lower half. There is one thing you can do that might help, but I don't know how big of a screen you have. The smaller the screen you have, the less helpful this will be. I don't actually need the notes section to be particularly wide, so I'm going to make it a little narrower. And I am going to just make it a little smaller as well. And then over here, that has the main body of the document, I'm going to make that wider. And I know you probably can't really see as well. I wonder if I can do this. No. Unfortunately, it's doing that annoying thing where if I zoom in on one document, it zooms in on the other. I wish it didn't do that. I'm trying to show you something, and I don't know exactly how to do what I'm going to do. Here we go. So I'm going to go view paper layout. That's not really what I want. I've done something and I don't know how to get rid of it. Tell you what, I'm going to come down here. There we go. Down here at the bottom of the screen, I've got these three icons. One says breed mode. That's what I accidentally put it in. Another is print layout. Another is web layout. Go to print layout. And then go view and turn on the navigation pane. What it has right here, if you have headings activated, are all the chapter titles and the subchapter titles, because you had created those as headings when you edited it, and that's what you needed to do. So if I click here, it'll bring me very quickly to that part of the document. That will be helpful for you, because I know that we're on chapter 2 and we're on the 4th footnote of chapter 2. I don't really know which subheading that falls under, but if I click to chapter 2, it'll quickly take me there. I can go references, next endnote. It's taken me to endnote 1. Next endnote takes me to endnote 2. Next endnote takes me to endnote 3. I see that neither is superscript more than the other. I happen to know that it's been the first footnote that is the correct one. And if I, oh boy, some things in life are not easy, Ben. I guess you know that. Oh my God, I don't know which is which. Looks like the first one is the correct one. If I hover over the second one, it's giving me that blank. So I'm going to highlight the second 3, press delete. I guess you could delete that one before you insert the next one. I'll try that next. So now I'm going to go next endnote, and I'm actually going to delete that 4. Now I'm going to insert endnote. It pops me to down there, and I'm going to highlight footnote 4 from the notes section, drag and drop. And the only way I know to quickly get back to where we were is to click here in the navigation pane. Now I clicked religious idealism instead of chapter 2 because it was highlighted. Maybe that just happens to be where footnote 4 is. I don't actually know. I was hoping that might be the case. So I'm going to go to next endnote. Oh, that wasn't it. Next endnote. Not it. Next endnote. There's endnote 4. Now I'm going to go to next endnote again to pop me to endnote 5. There it is. I'm going to highlight it. I accidentally highlighted a little bit too much. Highlight that 5, press delete, insert endnote. Go over here. Make sure I've highlighted everything from endnote 5. Drag and drop. I wasn't paying attention. I don't really know what section I was supposed to be in. I'm going to try secular idealism. Next endnote. Whoa, that obviously wasn't it. That's endnote 11. There's endnote 4. So next endnote should pop me to endnote 5. Next endnote should pop me to endnote 6. Highlight endnote 6, delete it, insert endnote. In the notes document, highlight the text for endnote 6, drag and drop. And it's just a matter of doing that for what, 300 times until you get all your endnotes done. So I am going to save this document, and this is the document I'm going to send to you, along with the notes document. I'll send you both of those. Oh my, just ignore, completely and totally ignore that message. So the file that I send you might only have a couple of endnotes done because I don't know if I feel like redoing these to fix that issue. I actually want to show you one more thing that I think will save you a little bit of time. You might not want to do this, but it could save you, let's say, an hour of your time. There are things I see myself doing quite a bit that require a drop-down box, and that is the references next endnote. It seems like if I press next endnote a lot, that should become the text that appears here at the top of the drop-down box, but it's not. It's doing next footnote. And you have endnotes, not footnotes. So what I'd like to do is make next endnote be a easily clickable thing in my Word document, since I know I'm going to be using it a lot. You can put specific commands in Word right up here. I think it's called the Quick Access Toolbar. You see it has this little drop-down arrow. I'm going to click it and go Customize Quick Access Toolbar, and it's not letting me do it. I do not know why not. Oh, probably because I'm in safe mode. Oh my gosh. You know what? I have Word 2007. I'm going to open that one. So, oh, it's still... Oh, it's opening it in Safe Word again. Alright, load again. I'm going to close all this. I'm not going to save anything. I know that's a really weird screen. Alright. So this is Word 2007. It should look just like yours. So I'm going to go Customize Quick Access Toolbar, More Commands. The command for that next endnote is under References. So if I click here under Choose Commands From, there's the Reference tab right here. So I'm going to look for next endnote, which I see right here. And then I'm going to click Add, and it's going to pop it over to this column. And I'm going to say OK, and now this button stands for next endnote. So whenever I'm in your flowers document, and let's see if I can open that really quickly. And I can't even remember how to open a document here. Actually, let me see if it... Oh no, let's see. So now if I click next footnote, this button will take me to the next footnote every time. And that will just save you a little bit of time, because you now don't have to press references, next footnote, then next endnote. And if you find yourself doing a lot of commands repeatedly, you can pop them up here.